Hello again. So this video is going to be about psychological issues, antisocial behavior, and that is something I've been dealing with and which annoys me in general. I mean, it doesn't affect me as a person. I usually remove myself from any interactions with such people, but I have interacted with such people enough and too much that, as you may have seen in a previous video, it shows sometimes. If someone makes an antisocial comment, I become really unfriendly, and that's also the only way to treat such people. You have to be unfriendly towards antisocial people. There's no point being friendly, absolutely none. I've dealt with such people long ago in my time. So mentioned bits. I'm using FreeBSD 14 with X Windows and Afterstep as a window manager. Simple. I've used it for ages. I like it. It's simple. You can go with this like this. With the cursor keys and the control, you can switch between all the virtual desktops. It's really nice. Let's see. Yeah. Or you can go with the mouse cursor, and yeah, everything is just as I want it. In that time, I used Linux, and I came across a lot of antisocial people and autists. I didn't know what autists were. I didn't know there were such antisocial people as psychopaths. But I made some comments to a relative of mine that I couldn't believe how antisocial a lot of the people were in discussions about Linux. That's one of the big reasons why I switched to OpenBSD. Well, was running it at the same time, two different partitions. Then tried FreeBSD, and that's where I settled. It was for me the best option. No whining about licenses all the time. No antisocial people that you see so much in Linux, and that is related, by the way, to the licensing issues, because the GPL license, although the idea behind it is nice, is actually oppressive. It is the same as very similar, like the woke nonsense, like political correctn's. It's trying to enforce a worldview onto you. It's very annoying. Antisocial people. So I've dealt with these people in various issues, like programming. I lived with my parents at the time when I was dealing with Schiphol, the airport, and I thought these people are unbelievably antisocial, even though they're working for the government. And Schiphol is a government-owned company. They don't give a damn about anyone. It's unbelievable, the behavior of these people. Absolutely some of the most antisocial people I ever met. Talked to, I mean. Mostly on the phone or emailed. This is not just about ULO farms. They are actually good, but it is about them, because the issue is not necessarily with these farmers employing seasonal workers, but the intermediate agencies. So when you're in Ukraine and you take the subway, for example, you will see, for example, sort of advertisements: Robota w Polsce, work in Poland, or Robota w Europie, which means work in Europe. And so these agencies are offering work. They take care of all the issues, all the visa, procuring the visa, many other things. But now comes the point: they are often bad, and sometimes the farmers are bad. And what it means is they charge way too much for accommodations, which are usually very simple hostel, like bunk beds, something like that. They usually do not pay what they promised. And sometimes it's really bad. In the Netherlands, this is known, this happens. So even here in the Netherlands, a rich country, you think people are really, how should I call it, civilized in some way. And you have these issues of people being exploited, and they're being exploited obviously because they're in a position of having no power. And these agencies and some farms in the Netherlands exploit that. Um, I talked to my friend. This is an email I sent to this farm, by the way, but I'll get to that later. So, my friend, the one from Kharkov, who was part of a group that wanted to do sort of sustainable ecological living. I said goodbye to her because so many times she distrusted me, and I don't like that. It's just, I mean, what's the point of being a friend with someone or contact if he or she is just trusting you all the time, even when you've done a lot of things for that person, and I don't do things to get anything, but. For example, this also is about doing what you should do. I mean, the right thing. Getting annoyed at antisocial people that I see somewhere is not about me personally getting influenced, but I feel an indignation about this type of behavior towards people in general. So this is the type of issue that I deal with as well. For me, it's interesting to show this and to make people aware of what's happening. Perhaps you are aware of this, but I would want to tell you this story. So my friend contacted me a year after I said goodbye to her. I was surprised. Well, not actually surprised, but that's another story. And she told me what she wanted to do, and I said that I would recommend against it. She thought perhaps get a job somewhere. Let's go here to the contact page. So I can see this email address. That is info@hlf.co.uk. That's to whom I sent this email. So she contacted me. She wanted to do seasonal work to get money for some medical issues, not of herself. And I said, okay, I'll see what I can find out. See if you can get a visa and perhaps do some work in the Netherlands. That is not seasonal work, but it's really not at all easy. I tried, but couldn't find anything, and it turns out it's really, really difficult. You need some business or something that helps you. And I don't know any such business that does such things, or perhaps via a lawyer or something who does such things. I could find out, but I don't know such people here in the Netherlands. So yeah. Okay, so I said it's very, very difficult, but I did tell her all the things I found out, and that I could do more. But I was at the time trying to really finish the house renovations, and it took ages, and oh my god, it took so much time. Never do that. Never do house renovations, I would say. It's not cool at all. Anyway, so I didn't really want to spend so much time on it, also because it's like, as I mentioned earlier about her, when she needs me, she contacts me, but otherwise she's not interested. And anyway, she did everything herself in the end without me, because I recommended against it. And she told me then, we had contact a bit later. I'm not sure if she contacted me, probably, about issues she had. So she went to work in the UK. And the work that she did was on farms, for example. And this is, she's highly skilled. She has a degree in English and French as a teacher. But yeah, she wanted to do this just to make the money and then get back home. And so was 2021. And she went there in the summer and went to work for various places, at least two. The second was Yulo Farms. And she complained to me about all the issues that she had, about bad care, that you're being, if you have injuries, for example, then not much was being done. The people who she interacted with were from the intermediate agency, obviously, because they need translators. So there's some guy from the intermediate agency interacting with the workers on behalf of the farm, telling them what to do, how to do it, and such things. They didn't have much spare time. I think 1 day a week, or most, was it. But okay, I will tell you what she had cuts and she couldn't get proper care for it. So I thought, okay, what should I do? I'll contact the farm, but I'll write the email in such a way that nobody can see who it is, and also not that it's a man or a woman. I will read you the email. LS, lectore salutem. A friend of mine wanted to work in the UK for better paying work than in Russia or Ukraine. My advice was not to do that, as I know from similar situations in the Netherlands where I live, where seasonal workers from Poland, that these workers are often abused in the sense that wages are not paid as agreed, and or that housing costs are deducted from the pay, and these are often absurdly high, etc. The issue can come from two sources: the farms themselves or intermediate agencies. In the cases I know in the Netherlands, it's a bit of a mistake with typos. Yeah, that happens. Sometimes I see that people don't understand why this works. It's because of changing your thinking or thinking ahead. Sometimes I miss words or entire half sentence. I think when writing down with a pen, then it's even more than sometimes a whole sentence or even more than sometimes a few sentences are gone because I'm already thinking ahead. And then you think you have written everything down, and you read it back, and you think, wait, where something is missing. So almost always the intermediate agencies who are at fault, but in some cases the farms are the problem. But even in the first case of an intermediate agency being the problem, then the farms still have a responsibility to check up on such issues. This friend, who is a hard worker and doesn't complain quickly, and that is true, I know that for sure, contacted me about problems the workers have, so she, but also others, which was first at another place, but recently working at your farm. What should they do? I had to think about that and decided to write this email. So she asked me what to do, and I decided to write the email. First, the problems. These are 1. Not being paid as per the contract. 2. No good working conditions. It is not acceptable to require workers to work without protection from sacrificing their health. This means in this case that the workers need good working gloves because they were cutting with the shears, and you have to be very careful to not cut in your fingers, and if it happens, it's better to have a good glove that are adequate for the work being done to protect against cuts from bushes and if possible from the cutting tools, and knee pads if the work requires working low on the ground. That's what she also wanted. By the way, I sent her a package because I thought, okay, this is not okay. I will send her some working gloves and knee pads. Let's see. I was told that some sellers close to where the workers live or work offer inadequate working gloves that the workers must buy themselves, and these gloves are sold at inflated prices, taking advantage of the fact that the workers can't travel much or far, don't have much free time, another missing word. Inadequate care for injuries, especially cuts that were obtained, not really the right word, I think. Okay. During the work, injured workers were told that a band-aid was good enough even for deep cuts, and that if they wanted to get it taken care of, say with stitches in a hospital, if they felt that this was needed, then they would need to take an unpaid day off. I'm sure you know that such conditions are not legal working conditions, and you may be liable because an employer must ensure good working conditions and that workers have the ability to get medical issues properly taken care of. Even if you're not aware of such issues, then you're still responsible by virtue of being the employer and by the fact that you should check up on workers and how they get on. So I'm trying to prevent, which is the same that I did with reasoning in Linux news groups. They made people really, really angry. I already took care of all the things that they might counter. Yeah, we're not responsible for this or that. Yes, you are, and I've given all the reasons here. Even if you're not aware of such issues, then you're still responsible, yeah, that you should check up on workers and how they get on. You will find some of these workers from Russia and Ukraine can speak English, so you can ask them for someone who speaks English, use a translation program or websites such as Google Translate to ask in Russian who of you speaks English to have a talk and get their view on the problem of working conditions. I would suggest you provide them with good working gloves and knee pads where needed. Some workers will likely say, and it's here I again think ahead to what may happen, such as, yeah, we asked them, but nobody said there was a problem. Of course, that can happen, but then there's a reason for that. Some workers will likely say that there's no problem if they fear that they could get terminated, or fear in general from retribution of the intermediate agency, such as not getting paid. But you need to just ask a number of them without someone of the intermediate agency being there. Again, I'm thinking ahead to all possibilities. I presume someone speaking Russian Ukrainian is used to instruct the workers, and I presume this person comes from an intermediate agency to take care of this. You could, for example, go start to talk with these people, with this guy, ask him to come to your office, and then send someone else to talk to the workers. Please let me know your course of action. Yours sincerely, about Scholten, the Netherlands. So the reply. Dear Mr. Scholten, thank you for your email. We're looking into the issue you have raised. Kind regards, Eleanor Mead, Human Resources Advisor. And my friend mentioned that I think the next day or day after, she had to, oh my, I don't know what you've done, but this was the best day ever. The treatment of the people changed. I don't know if it really went on for long after that and what this farm did, but I have looked into it and contacted that agency, obviously. But she told me other things, and so she wasn't being paid what she was promised. She had to pay too much for living conditions. The guy from the intermediate agency who instructs them on what to do also exploited them, for example, promising certain things for if you're doing this or that, and then it doesn't work, letting them work for much longer per day than they should. Various issues that were going on. I could look it all up and make a really comprehensive page on it or a comprehensive video about it, but okay, maybe you find this interesting. That's it for now. Bye.